Namaste. In this video, we are discussing the way forward if the tax dues are not paid under the Sabka Vikas Legal Dispute Resolution Scheme 2019 called SVLDR Scheme. The last date for the paying of tax dues earlier was 31st March 2020, but due to pandemic, the same was extended to 30 June 2020. But the pandemic led to worsening of economic situation and some of the applicants could not pay the tax due on 30 June 2020. The CBIC has issued internal letters to the commissioners to make an inquiry with applicants who have not paid the tax due, whether they will be able to make the payment by 30 September 2020. The purpose of the inquiry is to take the decision of extending the due date for paying the tax dues under the scheme. Upon an evaluation of responses, the government may extend the time limit for paying such tax dues to 30 September 2020. We have to wait for the official announcement. If the date is extended, the government will issue an official notification. Meanwhile, let's see what is the position of the applicants who has filed the applications under various categories but failed to pay the tax dues. Category 1. Applicants whose cases were pending before Supreme Court or High Court. In such cases, it is stated in the scheme that such person has to submit the proof of payment of tax dues along with the proof of withdrawal of his case from Supreme Court or High Court as the case may be. Those who has not paid the tax dues have not applied before the courts for withdrawal of the appeals. Then there is no issue. The applicants have his right of maintaining appeal intact in Supreme Court or High Court. However, an applicant who has applied for the withdrawal of appeals and it is allowed by the courts and does not pay the tax dues. In such cases, Supreme Court or High Court may have mentioned the reason for withdrawal of appeals. If it is mentioned that appeal is withdrawn for SVLDR scheme, then the applicant who has not paid the tax due and is not eligible for final discharge of certificate can apply for application before the courts for restoration of his appeal, even if the court has not mentioned the reason for withdrawal of appeal. He can file an application of restoration of his appeal by explaining the reasons, including financial constraint posed by the COVID crisis and its impact on business and economy. The court may restore this appeal on the basis of his application. Category 2. Applicants whose cases were pending before Sestat or Commissioner Appeal. In these cases, if the appellant does not pay the tax dues, he will be out of SVLDR scheme. In such cases, he has to file a letter stating for non-opting of SVLDR scheme and his interest in maintaining the appeal before these authorities. Accordingly, this authority will proceed his appeal. Category 3. Cases where show cause notice issued and final hearing pending before the adjudication authorities and opted for this scheme. In such cases, if the appellant does not pay the tax dues, he will be out of SVLDR scheme. For recovery of taxes, the government may have to adjudicate the proceeding by issuing an order. The applicant will have the right to file an appeal against the order issued by the adjudication authority. Category 4. Cases at the inquiry stage or year 2000 audit completed and amount of tax finalized before 30 June 2019. In such cases, if the applicant does not pay his tax dues, he will be out of SVLDR scheme. For the recovery of taxes, the department may have to issue show cause notice and complete the adjudication procedure by issuing the order. The applicant will have the rights to file an appeal against this order issued by the adjudication authority. In both cases, applicants will lose his benefit of waiver of interest and penalty. Category 5. Voluntary disclosure. In such cases, if the applicant does not pay the tax dues, he will be out of SVLDR scheme. Similarly, up to earlier cases, for the recovery of taxes, the department has to issue show cause notice and complete the adjudication procedure by issuing the orders. Category 6. Return filed earlier to specified date showing his tax liability. In such cases, applicant does not pay the tax dues, he will be out of the SVLDR scheme. The department can start recovery of tax by issuing notice. To summarize, the applicant who has not paid the tax dues due to pandemic, his right to contest does not end. The cases where he is in appeal, he has all the arguments to fight his appeal. Applying for SVLDR scheme will not be a disadvantage in his appeal proceeding. In cases where he has accepted the tax liability voluntarily, he will not have much say against his tax liability, but of course, he has better footing for fighting against the levy of penalty.